So in a move that generally surprised me, yeah, there's still that word in WWE that they really like to do. They decide to give away Asuka versus Sasha Banks for free on television. Now I thought, oh, this is clearly gonna get Absolution involved. Like, I know Paige is sadly forced to retire, even though they're not gonna acknowledge it yet. But clearly Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville are gonna get involved in this, right? And stop the match short. Nope, this is a full-on pay-per-view quality matchup that when you look at it, you think, yeah, this should have been saved for WrestleMania, or, you know, any other pay-per-view. But instead, they give away this match for free, and this confused me. And there were a lot of big, heavy moments in this matchup, like, specifically the most scariest one was when Sasha Banks went for a suicide dive, and Asuka landed a kick to the head of Sasha Banks, and everyone was like worried because this is like the second scariest suicide dive since Lita and Trish Stratus, and there's been plenty of scary moments. So we were all freaking out, like, were they trying to kill each other in this matchup in terms of telling the story? But yeah, I was surprised. Like, I knew this could be a good match. Like, Sasha Banks has put on good matches, Asuka's put on good matches, and everyone always hoped that these two would collide. But I was thinking, like, is this going to be a pay-per-view match? Or is this, like, there's Elimination Chamber, they could do a match there. But then the Elimination Chamber for women aren't going to happen, so they would have to think of something else. So then, this match was pretty awesome. I was surprised how long they let them go at it. Like, I believe it started around 9:54, or at best around 9:40, and ended around 10. I want to say 10:15. I could be wrong on there, but still, yeah, this was an awesome match. So starting off with Asuka with Stephanie McMahon reveal that there's going to be an Elimination Chamber, and Sasha Banks comes out to challenge Asuka to a match, and at Royal Rumble we saw a bit of Sasha's dark side finally be coming out, and yeah, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville did not show up at all tonight, so that was surprising, though I get the feeling that's because of what happened with Paige. So with all this happening, there were a lot of big moments in this, but the fact that they might finally going with, let's turn Sasha to the dark side one more time. You know, the same Sasha Banks that made a little girl cry. Yeah, that was dark storytelling. The fact that they said, hey, let's make a girl cry on television. And let's make it Bayley's #1 fan. Yeah, I was like, yeah, when does the main rosterville not do that kind of stuff anymore? Okay. So, following that, we get another scary fall from Asuka because Sasha Banks pulls down the rope when Asuka goes for another hip strike. And once more, it looks like, oh, is she hurt? Let's hope they're not hurt. Because Asuka's got a big main event push coming. And so does Shinsuke Nakamura. We can't afford injuries like this happening to the Royal Rumble winners. And there was a moment I thought this match might end with Sasha winning. But ultimately, it went to Asuka, the Empress of Tomorrow, ultimately getting the win and defeating Sasha Banks. Now, there are two big moments on here that I took away from all this, other than the fact that this match took a lot longer than you thought it would have. But, one, it's the fact that this ended in a clean victory, because normally it does make me worry that maybe WWE's not really committed to Sasha, or else they would have done what they did with Roman Reigns, just not at the major extent they do. But yeah, but also I really did think that, wait, what if this does end with Sasha Banks winning? That would be a huge boost in momentum. But that also leaves the question, what's left for Sasha? What's left for Asuka? Like, she's virtually beaten every single woman on Raw. There's nowhere left to go, honestly. Like, she's beaten Bayley in NXT. She's beaten almost everybody. So, really, what's left on Raw? Well, here's the thing. A report had came out that After Ronda Rousey's debut, reports started coming out. Not only was she signing to WWE, but apparently they might not even do Asuka versus Ronda Rousey or Asuka versus Alexa Bliss. Instead, there are words going around that Asuka is instead going to replace Ronda Rousey to fight Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's title. Alexa Bliss will fight Nia Jax, and Ronda Rousey will go on to feud with Stephanie McMahon and Triple H with The Rock on her side, leading to a tag team match if WWE can convince Hollywood to not do the insurance thing. So, yeah, that's going to be fairly interesting. And, yeah, I think Ronda Rousey might have changed their plans, and the fact they're doing Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss, no idea how that match is going to work out, but we'll see. But this led me to think, did they give away this match because they know it's going to be a while till she comes back to Raw because she's going to SmackDown? Like, they haven't done Asuka versus Charlotte, and they gave away Asuka versus Alexa Bliss, and everyone knows how that's going to end. So, really, there are only a couple of matches she has left to do on SmackDown Live against Charlotte Flair, Carmella, Becky Lynch, Natalya, Naomi, Tamina, not going to count Lana. So really there's only 6 women left for her to fight who are actually being pushed. So, yeah, once that happens, there really isn't anyone left. Yeah, that's the sad part because, yeah, at least when the streak was going on in NXT, they gave it time. They gave it to develop. In fact, how many months it took them to acknowledge that there's a streak going on? And, yeah. And then they would usually just build stuff up with angles and segments instead of giving her matches straight up. And they would only give her a match on NXT programming for a special occasion or just to fight an enhancement talent. But even then, the enhancement talent gets a moment to strike. Where on the main roster, they just threw everybody at her and she beats them all. So, yeah, like, there is one other opponent. They could do Ronda Rousey versus Asuka, but let's be honest, that would have been way too predictable because everyone knows they're going to sacrifice Asuka's streak just to keep a UFC star happy. And plus, considering how she's reacted to her UFC losses and still has a hard time talking about it, as shown in an interview she recently conducted regarding her signing to WWE, yeah, I don't think that's going to work. I don't think Asuka's going to beat Ronda Rousey in her first match. So, yep. And the other moment was Sasha Banks in the middle of the ring is letting tears come out of her eyes and streak down across her cheeks. Like, wow. Like, she knew she was close. But I was thinking, like, is this going to lead to a heel turn finally? Are we finally getting the dark side of the boss? Please do so. And like I said, this could probably serve as a feud for Asuka and Sasha Banks, since they were hinting at it at Royal Rumble when Sasha Banks was screaming out how she's ready for Asuka and how she was teaming up with the Bella Twins of all people. You would think that would not be the case for a variety of reasons that could fit the context of a storyline, but since they're on separate brands and Brie is not on any brand, they could just do that. They can't do those kind of storylines, but yeah, so is this leading to Asuka versus Sasha Banks at Elimination Chamber? If so, why give away the match for free and get a clean victory? Yeah, I'm thinking it's the former, where they're just giving away this match because they know Asuka's going to SmackDown, so they have to do something else. So they wanted to say, you know what, she's leaving. I'm like, it would have been good if they kept that as a mystery and later do a Survivor Series singles match with Sasha as Raw Women's Champion. Okay, let's be honest, that would never have happened. She'll just lose on the Raw and not defend it on pay-per-view. Every time she'll defend it, she'll lose it. So, yeah, that's clearly booking philosophy 101 from Vince and hot potatoing it. But yeah, they could do that with Sasha holding the Raw Women's title and Asuka holding the SmackDown Women's title at Survivor Series. But yeah, something tells me they were never going to ever do that because they don't want Sasha to be put in a position where she where she could be in a position of success, because they fear if she gets injured again, they'll go into panic mode, even though this is really kind of their fault since they don't want to give anybody a chance. So, yeah, once Asuka leaves Raw and goes to SmackDown, that is indeed the plan. That leads to a question. What's left for Raw to do with the women? Like, they don't really care about Bayley. She wasn't even doing anything that night. Sasha Banks has pretty much shown that she's just more like a main event jobber for the women, for the more pushed women. Alexa Bliss, okay, yeah, they didn't even have her show up at all during the show. They just had her show up on Raw Fallout, but clearly they show their priorities straight. And with Ronda Rousey's debut, they're probably going to center the show around her. So I think that's why they're switching it up. Like, they're going to center Raw around Ronda Rousey and center SmackDown Live with Asuka. If that's indeed the case, yeah, this is what happens when you put your eggs in one basket. Whereas you could have those two, but you can have multiple other women be top stars, so in case one gets injured, we could replace her with another top star. Like, yeah, it might be a little dwindling a little bit, but at least in long term, you have a backup plan if things didn't work out or something happened in the middle of it. I mean, like I said, what's going to happen to Asuka after she loses her first match? Like, there's been word going around that she might lose at Facebook on the Facebook Watch Show Mixed Match Challenge because they want to promote that, which I still think is stupid because, let's be honest, are they ever going to do this again? Are they ever going to promote a show on the Facebook Watch again? And they're already airing the episodes a week after they air on the network. So really, we're going to have to wait and see what becomes of Asuka and Ronda Rousey, especially when they make their commitments to certain positions. So we'll see how that goes. I hope Sasha Banks turns heel because she's alright as a face, but she more excels at being the villainous character. So we're going to have to wait and see how that turns out. But really, I think they might build up Bayley versus Sasha Banks, though I wouldn't be surprised if they put it on the kickoff panel because, oh, we already have two women fighting. We already have two big women matches. We can't afford this on the main card. What, you think we would get rid of our filler matches we have? Don't be silly. So, those were my thoughts on Sasha Banks versus Asuka, the Empress of Tomorrow versus The Boss. This was Neo Reality Antenna. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate to tune for more.